YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. So excited to be bringing you the Viper 70 back from E-flite with some important partners for you. Oh yeah, not only are these squishy, but they're very squishy and they still look good and they work great. And yes, we do have spring-loaded oleos back and front. Obviously the back ones are quite a little bit more stout, as you can see, and that's the way we need it on this plane. But I'm gonna tell you what, that makes a huge difference on this plane in terms of its performance and its looks. Works really nice. And also, as we've seen with most of the recent, we've got thrust reverse, which is awesome. All right, guys, so without further ado, we're gonna take off flaps deployed. Everything is tested. There she goes in the air, gear going up. That's 50% throttle there. Just being nice to my 4000 6S, yes. This calls for a 3200 by default. We will fly that for you. This happens to be a 50C. It's had a rough life. Guys, if you've never experienced a Viper, this thing is second to none performance, very fun. And we're flying in light winds. Oh, geez, that looks so good. Just a couple clicks of trim on the elevator. Okay, we're gonna go to the low point here and then just carry it across. We've got a little bit of a crosswind that's making the high-speed passes challenging here. Look at the ups, guys. Amazing. Sorry about the blue sky, camera crew. Can you go to the center of the driveway for me? Thank you. Just a little kiss of throttle. Oh, and by the way, 85 amp ESC makes the faster, bigger 1900 kV motor. Just very, very happy with life. You guys see the ups? I'd call that unlimited. But just remember, it's a Viper. She'll still bite you if you're not careful. Almost high speed stalled it at the top of that turn, guys. Okay, so takeoff flaps, landing flaps. This is where she shines. Beautiful slow speed performance into the throttle. Kind of hard takeoff flaps now. Bringing it up out of the bowl just a little bit into the airspace above. And then we'll just do a nice with the wind pass. Look how nice that is, guys. Beautiful out of the flaps into the takeoff flaps here. Out of the landing flaps, rather. Okay, out of the flaps all together. We'll bring it around the curl here and then takeoff flaps, landing flaps. We're gonna, in the wind, we'll give you a nice dirty pass here, okay? Plenty of elevator to spare and just getting ground effect out of the two. And here we go. Guys, love flying this plane. It's one of my favorites. 1 minute left on a 3-minute and 40-second recommended time. And again, we're flying 4S 4000, janking it. And we'll get that thing flying in no problem. There we go. So guys, couple mistakes high, if you feel like it. All right, so I wanna try a touch and go here. Takeoff flaps only this time. We got a little bit of wind, so we can use that to our advantage. This thing gets very draggy. Oh man, there's some turbulence there for landing flaps. Oh, buddy, oh yeah. And that's why I love this plane, guys. It will bite you, but look at that. Look at that. Landing gear, don't even care. This is such a sweet plane. It is forgiving as all get out. I'm gonna take off with the wind. Here we go, with the wind and takeoff flaps. Look at this, guys. Going back around, even a nice little bounce landing, no damage at all. The landing gear are second to none. You may find you want to try to squeeze that battery back just a little bit further for landing flaps now because you lose a little bit of your elevator flare ability. You guys see what I'm talking about? And I am on rough ground, as you can see. That leading edge, that trailing link is what makes this plane work on grass. Now I'm gonna go with wind, take off again. We haven't seen our low voltage warning. We do have telemetry on this plane, which is super nice, and smart makes everything better. All right, so take off flaps. Let's see if we can get off the ground. Oh yeah, baby, gear up. Now that was admittedly having to press the issue pretty hard. There's our critically low alarm. So I'm gonna just get her flying a little bit more gentle this time. Gliding, using up the energy we've already spent. Takeoff flaps and landing flaps. We're gonna try to stick a landing for you. I wanna stay out of the throttle so I can try to hit that thrust reverse hard. Okay, just coming in nice and gentle through the turbulent area there. Remember, save some elevator, guys, save some elevator. Full landing flaps, and there it is, pilot fatigue! Okay, as you can see, I get kind of excited about these things. And those squishy tires, they make a lot of resistance. Look at that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Okay, out of the flaps all together. And then we're gonna go forward thrust and just bring this thing right around. What a gorgeous plane. I did a terrible job on my landings, and yet this is what you're gonna find with this plane, is it just puts out time and time and time again. It is so much fun. And when you get one for yourself, following the links in the video description, you're gonna enjoy the nice orange finish. You could see where we had our 3200 marked out in our unbox build radio setup. We've now since moved this way back. Can you hold this for a sec? I'd like to have it back further. And the truth is we're just running out of strap position. I think there's a strap position here and a strap position here as well. So if you really knew you were gonna always fly on a bigger pack, you could probably get away with it. Now also look, you can push this back and you get this bite point here. Okay, so it'll help keeping this somewhat effective, but just keep in mind, you don't want to lose and discharge your battery from the plane if you have an accident. Now let's put the canopy back on, and I'm just going to show you, it does fit. You have to stick your leads up into this opening here, okay? So sometimes you got to press a little bit harder, okay? Now let's look on the bottom and see if we broke anything during that terrible first horrific landing. Looks pretty much like they're working. So guys, I gotta say, what a tremendous, super fun plane. I wish I had a 3200 charged right this second so I could fly right this second again for you, but it's currently charging. So we're gonna come back for that in a second. We'll have to pause and recover for a minute, but what an amazing product from E-flite. We have always been suckers for every release of the Viper. And I'm gonna tell you guys, this thing is second to none. It's got all the features I want. The only thing it's missing is LEDs, but truthfully, I have found that I don't tend to fly these planes as much in the time frames that I need LEDs as much as I would on like a Carbon Cub SS, for instance, or a Carbon Z T28. That has lots of LEDs on it, okay? Or something like the EC 1500, for instance. Those LEDs really help me because we'll drop down behind these trees. But I'm gonna tell you what does help is this bright orange paint will make a big difference. And white, I hate to break it to you, white is easier to see than gray. Gray is cool to see, but it's harder to see. And some of the competitive offerings are all gray right now, which might look cool, but the thing is it will disappear in a cloudy sky, just like it's, you know, F-18 brothers and sisters and things like that. So love that this is white, love that we have the high contrast colors that really do make the plane pop. A little bummed about the LEDs, but it's not that big a deal. I feel like a package deal here is better than the other package offerings because you get it in buy it in fly and you get all the smart telemetry. I've got pack voltage. You'll notice we didn't go to low voltage, but we did get the alarm. I set my ESC voltage alarm for low voltage cutoff, I believe is set to 3.2. It was 3.4, as was the alarm on here. I want a gap like this big, okay, 0.2 volts per cell. And what that does is that gets me a low voltage chime, then I relax my throttle, I go fly, I put it down on the ground, hopefully don't get a terrible landing. But the thing is, there's nothing I hate worse than getting a terrible landing on these beautiful planes. So I almost wonder, it feels like right now, the nose wants to drop quite a bit on landings, and I don't quite have enough elevator authority to get me what I want for flare, okay? Now, the reason that might be is because this thing is a fast jet and they want it to fly really smooth in the air. I am really tempted to move the center of gravity back even further by moving that battery back and then become more tail heavy so that I can get in and flare and get that little tiny, teeny bit, that 8 and 10, 15% more elevator authority that I'm looking for. but that's another story for another day. If I plop that 3200 in here, it's gonna be lighter, which means it's gonna be less tail heavy in the same position, correct? So that being said, we're gonna be more tail heavy if we put it in the same spot, because this is a heavier pack that's forward on the lever point. So if we put a lighter part here, it would be more tail heavy. So I think the 3200 is probably gonna do that. It's gonna resolve that for us. So we will do it and test it for you live on Prime Phillips RC. So that being said, if you guys wanna help support us, buy these things from the links. We show how to set up the thrust reverse. We show how to set up the pilot fatigue setting. We also show how to put it all together. It's a very easy build. We didn't even look in the manual for the build at all. We didn't have to put in one control arm. Nope. Thank God. We didn't have to do any of that stuff. The only thing that's hard in this build is fitting everything through the small hole in the middle of the fuse. Yep. Everything else is very smooth sailing. And in terms of radio setup with AS3X and Safe, we do have the new feature, which is really nice, where we can go in and have the advanced mode. So if you ever do decide to set up a different wing type on this, or, you know, or like split your elevators or do something crazy like that for televons, which I wouldn't recommend. I don't think they're going to be effective as televons, but you could do that if you wanted. And the thing is, all you have to do is go into the Ford programming and reset to factory defaults, which is so nice, because then you can start from virgin scratch with a 631 that's included inside of here, okay? That being said, lots of positives, almost no negatives. I think the only thing we didn't like was basically the fact that there aren't LEDs, but there aren't LEDs on any other Viper at this size class. Now, if you want LEDs, I'm gonna tell you what you need. You need the 90mm Viper jet. What an amazing plane, tons of LEDs, beautiful flight performance, every feature you could want right there in a finished package right now. So guys, when you follow our links in the video description below to buy one for yourself, you'll see the 90 as well. So check between the two, see if the price makes sense, but I'm gonna tell you this is an everyday flyer for most of us, okay? Everyday flyer jets are one of my favorites. Now, some people are gonna say this is a beginner EDF. It's more beginner than some harder to fly jets, sure. But I wouldn't probably push somebody into this as a first EDF jet. It's a great jet, but man, start with the Habu. Just do it. It's gonna be so much easier on you. You're gonna have better performance. Now, if you have a lot of flying time behind your belt and this is the first time you're getting an EDF, I'm gonna just suggest, just go straight to the 4 and 6S Habu SS, okay? And, you know, if you're flying with a programmable transmitter, same thing. You know, just go straight to that. Or get the 50. The 50mm Habu is a great learning platform. Very simple, very basic. No retracts, no flaps. But yes, again, you got to have your own transmitter there. But if you really don't have anything yet and you want to start with a jet, like straight up start with a jet, definitely don't do this. You're going to have a lot of money tied up in a good transmitter, which you're going to get on like your second or third plane, promise. And then you're gonna need to get a charger, you're gonna need batteries and all that stuff. So really the Habu STS, which is a 70mm, runs on 3 and 4S, really cheap batteries to get compared to what you're putting in here, which would be like a 4,000 milliamp 6S, considerably more expensive battery. And so we just wanna get you guys in, we wanna get you flying, get you a little bit of success under your belt, and just encourage you in the right direction. There's so many people that are gonna say, oh, first time plane. If it says it in the title, they're exaggerating. I do not think this is a first time plane for anybody unless you're just a genius pilot. Also, I want you to take note, we have confused winds today. It is not dead calm. Dead calm would have been awesome. I would have taken it all day long, but we have a little bit of wind and it's variable. So variable wind is the hardest to fly with. We have dead calm, it looks like right now. Guys, it's not dead calm because the wind's coming through that, and you could see when the plane goes like this, that's not dead calm. So you can fly this thing. That's why I say everyday flyer, average pilot, has a little bit of EDF experience. You can do this thing all day long, okay? So get one, you'll love it, you won't regret it. And definitely keep watching, guys. We're gonna have some more flights for you on this very video. I'm not sure what order they're gonna hit in. As usual with our unbox build radio setup is gonna publish right before, so you can watch that at your convenience if you wanna see how this thing went together now that you've made the decision to buy. Now also, if you wanna buy something else that you don't see right here, and maybe something you've seen recently, just check our video links in the description below, or excuse me, our links to purchase down below. And by the way, if you follow those links, it doesn't buy anything right away. It just takes you to the site where you can buy it. Then you can review the details, review the specs, download a manual, do your evaluation, your final considerations of these planes, and then you can just go right there and we'll still get credit for it. So it's no big deal. And that is how we, after all, fund the channel. That's the number one way you can support us, is watching the videos, thumbs up, click the bell for notifications when you're subscribing, and then of course buy stuff when we recommend it, whether it's this plane or something else from Horizon or E-flite. It doesn't make a difference to us so long as you are flying. That's what we want. We want people in the air. We want to grow the hobby. We want to prevent one and dones and get people back in the air that used to be in the air. And that's our main mission statement here on Brian Phillips RC. And we want to teach you to do it in the best, most economical way possible. And so that's why we have coupon codes over at Brian Phillips RC if they exist. So check it out. Guys, we appreciate you being part of our YouTube experience and our environment here where we get to fly these amazing products. We are building a pond. It's going to be starting in the next couple of weeks, so we're super excited to share it with you. If you want to help fund that, buy these things. That is literally what happens. The money gets recycled into the RC habit, and that's how it works for us at least. And then secondly, if you don't want to do that, we have 4 other ways. We have super thanks, one-time donations through YouTube. We have members on YouTube. That's a monthly support. We have Patreon, which is monthly support. And then we have PayPal. Just remember, we're friends and family if you do PayPal, because who wants to line their pockets? Also, YouTube in their vast wisdom has been giving us hard times about links because they claim we haven't produced enough income for them and that we are just minions and peons and we should get back to the farm and start producing more money for them. So if you want to give them a special salute to YouTube and Google, the mothership who wants to command and control all of its indentured servitudes. I don't want to say the wrong words here and get blocked. But at the end of the day, if you really want to help support us and give them the special one-fingered salute, follow the links, buy the planes. You will help us and you will be saluting them in the correct way. Stay tuned. All right, so we're inside right now. We're going to show you what we're doing. We're going to try something we don't normally do. 30C, 3S, 3200. And you're like, 3S? For the Viper, that's not gonna work. This is a 6S platform, true. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a couple pieces of shelf liner and I'm just gonna make a package deal. See, the shelf liner is just to make them not slip. Now, I am a little bit concerned Gen 1 versus Gen 2 because the balancing circuits are not the same speed. So I'm not 100% sure that we're gonna be totally perfect on this, but we should be okay. Now, I'm also not sure how the telemetry is gonna work. But as you can see, it's gonna treat it like a non-smart pack because there's no data lead on either of these. Now, this is a series connector. You have to know the difference between series and parallel. Series is positive to negative, and then this becomes the positive and negative of the 2 packs, okay? Parallel would be positive, and negative become the positive and negative of the packs, okay? So this is going to take 3 cells and make it as though it were 6 cells. So 3200 6S, as opposed to parallel, which would make this 3S 6200 because there's a 3200 and a 32 worth of capacity in the tank, but keeping them 3 cells in series would be still a 3S in parallel. So a parallel connection, just so you guys know, would look like this if you're purchasing it from our links, okay? So you can see the red wires, or in this case, the orange wires are together, and the black wires are together, and it's just a straight through connection. So that would make a 3S battery, okay? We're not gonna do that. That's what we used in the EC1500 the other day when we used 2 4S's in parallel, okay? So this, if you decide to do it, it's gonna plug in like this, okay? That's gonna energize the circuit. And then this will continue and carry on. Oh, shoot. Duh, I did that backward. Okay, so now these things are in series together, and then this needs to make it up to this. So I had the wrong type of adapter, so I'll be right back for that. Okay, so sorry guys, I had the wrong type of adapter there. So this one is relatively small, so I'm a little nervous about that. So I might end up taking some time and off of one of my crash packs. As you know, I crash planes from time to time. You may have noticed on Brian Phillips RC that I crash planes. But you might too also have crashed planes. But what I could do is I could take one of the leads off of a 6S pack from a crash victim, and then I can build an EC3 so that I can have my adapter here, okay? Because typically if I have a series adapter, I'm not gonna be going to IC3 anyway. But I do wanna keep the capability there, okay? So just to show you that this will fit, and keep in mind Gen 1, Gen 2, probably not a huge deal, but this can now be out of the way. Obviously we wanna kind of bring that as far back as possible. And I just want you to see that it's possible you can fit it in here. Now I am running it back a little bit further. We found that this plane likes to be definitely on the tail heavy side, especially for landings. And one thing I found too on this particular plane, as with many jets, you have a very tight spot here. And so you can use a pair of forceps to grab that plastic and just push it down. Makes it really nice. You can cinch that thing down nicely, okay? And the only reason I'm being especially vigorous with that is because these are two separate batteries. We have shelf liner in there, so they'll slip, but only under the most aggressive movements, okay? So I'll push that sucker back as far as I can get it without damaging anything. And this actually will fit into the narrower pocket. So if you end up having a smaller battery, I know that we did on our original Viper jet, we made a ramp so the batteries could slide back even further. You may want to try that. Okay, now you'll notice that there is no smart lead, which is okay because we have two 3S's that are in series. And so that's gonna allow us to then plug this in and we'll see if everything fits right now. I wanna make sure my throttle cut's on and all that. Throttle cut's on, timer's cleared. And then we'll show you how the pack responds. Okay, everything goes together nicely. As you can see, it's going through the normal initiation process. Now let's go to telemetry and watch what we have. Yeah, see, still have pack voltage, which is really nice. That's the most critical one for me. There's a lot of other good stuff you can get with telemetry, but I don't need most of it, okay? So then I can actually pack this stuff carefully and see if they get low enough for the canopy to go on. I'm gonna try putting these on the side of the pack. You can see I kind of stuffed that in on the side there. I'm gonna see if I can get the second one. Yep, sure can. Nice. I didn't think it was gonna go nearly that nice. Camera crew? Mm-hmm. Any words of encouragement from past experience? Maybe like something.
Like I said, I was right.
Maybe something you said off camera, like you're not going to be able to fit those. Why are you even trying? Something like that.
Yeah. No, I was right as usual.
That's what it's like to be married. All right, guys, there you have it. So we're going to fly this now. Stay tuned. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. It's the Viper 70 from E-flite. Amazing. Yes, we're going to show you this again. We don't know what order you're going to see it in. We want to make sure you see the squish. Very squishy tires. Makes a huge impact in the flight performance, trailing link, and spring-loaded oleos, front and back. But then we're doing something different on this flight. We're going to fly with twin 3S in series, something we almost never do. But I had some 3S's that look to be in pretty dang good shape, like they've been maybe never used. Okay, throttle cuts off, take off flaps, thrust reverse. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, forward thrust, here we go. Oh, that thing's juicy. Juicy fruit, guys. Juicy fruit, guys. Twin 3S's. Gear going up. God, I love the juicy fruit, folks. Juicy fruit. The taste, is it the taste that's gonna move you?
How old are you?
I don't know, I'm old. Almost out of throttle here. Right over the new tree. Okay, so guys, 3S parallel smart packs at 30C. Definitely flying a little bit more efficiency right now. Full throttle. Uh-oh, some turbulence. Just kidding, guys. We did that on purpose because I love doing that with the Viper. Take off flaps until we get recovered. What a gorgeous, gorgeous flying plane, folks. And a gorgeous day, guys. We're starting to have the cold nights that remind you you're in the northern part of the country here in central Iowa. And it's a disgusting feeling. Beautiful. Folks, these Viper jets are getting so dang refined. We've done a number of them, and I'm just gonna tell you this. This one you can see, which is kind of handy since it's not gray like the sky. Although I gotta say, I love the orange. I love the pop of color. I love the flyability. It's just a great, great flying plane, really, at the end of the day. It's one of my favorites of all time. I love the scream. Listen. That's out of throttle, by the way. And yes, with thrust reverse, soft, spongy tires, grass hops capability, which you haven't seen it yet. We'll do it in, maybe we'll do one in this flight too. But the grass hops are no problem for this with that trailing link, makes a big difference. In fact, let's go ahead and put down on the grass. Gear coming out. Okay, we're gonna go on the inside and then cut, okay? Flaps, landing. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, yes, it's so perfect. Perfect! It echoed in real life. Okay, here we go. Out of flaps, out of the gear. Pushing the limits of the Viper jet. Apologies for anybody who lost their speakers just now. We seriously only do it for extra fun at your expense. Let's take off flaps, 30-40% throttle. Watching out for the UPS stick and bush. You don't want to ram it into the bush. Wow, that gray cloud is weird up there.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, did it again. So weird. Full throttle and recovery upside down, folks. Camera crew loves me right now. You're welcome. Timer, gear coming out. Let's see if we can stick it. Full landing flaps here. Guys, just remember when you put out your elevator, woo, woo, woo. Soft tires, baby. Gotta love it. You can jank it. That thing slows down so much better than like virtually any plane we have right now. Okay, so the timer just went off for 340. I'm gonna go ahead and taxi through one of the roughest parts of our ground. And that is truly, honestly, not compared to like where they take in the other field. But as you can see, just loving it into the pilot fatigue setting. Okay, into the controllable, in the controllable thrust reverse. That worked really dang good. I have no problems. And look at this, we still have a pretty good amount of power. I'm gonna try to, camera crew, hold that.
Hold on, okay.
Just full disclosure, we can always see this in person, no problem, but the glare makes for terrible filming at times, guys. So Horizon, if you're listening, if you would send us some sort of a matte finish, something or another. Guys, what a great plane. There's nothing not to love about this plane. The efficiency, the beauty, the ease, the quality build, the smart technology, the great landing gear. Guys, I cannot go on enough about how nice those soft tires are. Yeah. Those are some of the best soft tires we've ever experienced, and we've experienced a lot of tires. I'm talking, we've experienced big, huge, supple, squishy pairs. And they're not even as good as this. Sorry. I'm talking about the pneumatic tires on my Carbon Z Cub, right? Yeah. Okay. But just saying, they are heavy and obnoxious, and yet they're awesome, and I would do it again because the Carbon Z can handle that weight.
These are like
but these are light, beautiful. They have the same tread pattern. They have the same shape. And so I'm thinking, why are we not doing this on every plane? Horizon, E-flite, Spectrum, whoever else is listening. Please, soft, squishy, supple. That's what we want. They're so good. That being said, still does grass ops, so no problem there. Now, one thing you might notice is that if you set this on your table in your living room, that is like right there where you do all of your living next to 40 other planes. Yeah. You might have a little bit of flat spot in your tire after a while is my suggestion. If you're concerned about that, go ahead and put the gear up, lay it on its belly. And that's one thing I want to talk about. This is an everyday flyer. Everyday flyer.
Are you sure?
It's an everyday flyer. Because you don't have to do it perfect every time.
Yeah.
And yet it's still awesome. By the way, gorgeous, Gorgeous, gorgeous plane. Let's see where the batteries ended up. Did they slide? Did they slip? No, they did not. Okay. So as you can see, we got a clip showing putting all the little parallel adapters together. Nothing caught on fire that I can tell yet, which is always handy. And I gotta say, this thing needs to be as tail heavy as you can get it so that your elevator does not lose its authority on final. Takeoff flaps are fine. You have enough elevator authority to flare. Landing flaps, you're pretty much bringing it in. You're lucky to get that nose. That's why I hit before the runway, and then that's why I bounced off in earlier flights and every other tough landing. So to be honest with you, I'd like to get the CG back just a hair further, and that's what we're gonna try on our next flight. But for now, guys, I just wanna point out how awesome this is. In Bind and Fly Basic, you're getting everything you want, except for maybe a couple LEDs, no big deal. I can live without that because I'm not gonna fly the fastest jets at that time of day anyway.
Yeah.
So that being said, oh, we did succumb to some damage. Look, I scraped my wingtip.
Oh.
Son of a biscuit. But you know what's nice about that? White next to gray means you'll never notice it unless you point it out literally on camera like Brian did.
You hit the
what?
end of your tail too, on the bottom.
On the bottom?
At some point.
Oh, you're talking about the thrust tube? I don't care about that.
Know, it
I could
happens.
care less. My thrust tube dragged so many times, I lost track. So guys, if you want to buy this thing, help support Brian Phillips RC, buy from the links in the video description below. I believe first shipments are going to be a couple of weeks, but get them while they're hot, folks. Don't wait. If you wait, you'll be one of those people saying, I wish it would be in stock. Do it now. You won't regret it. Great everyday flyer. This thing is going to be an amazing, amazing choice. I know you will be happy with it. So check it out in the links of the video description below. We have, what do you have to say about that, Cat? She's like, I don't care. Okay, so the cat does not care, evidently. 3S, 30C, 3200 in series. Kind of a weird way to do it, but to be honest with you, it worked pretty good.
Yeah.
I have no problem. So if you have other 3S planes and you want to bolster your 3S inventory of batteries, not a big deal. Seemed to be good. We had good pack voltage still, which gave us the plenty of telemetry data. And remember, the ESC is mostly concerned with the main discharge lead anyway, although being that we're dealing with smart ESCs, we can check for imbalance. We can check for if one cell sags and that sort of thing, which is really, really nice. Now, you're not gonna have that if you use these parallel adapters because we miss the smart pin, which is in the middle, okay? So just keep that in mind, but beautiful plane, amazing characteristics for flight, relatively easy to land. I don't care what anybody else says. I would not ever recommend this to a beginner EDF pilot. Maybe a beginner EDF pilot has a lot of pilot experience. You could get away with it. But I'm gonna tell you, the Habu, good choice for a beginner EDF plane. Or even, to be honest, if you're doing the STS, a beginner plane. I know that seems crazy as an EDF, but it's true. 3 and 4S capable, smart technology, safe, you know, battery feedback. It's a great plane. It flies so slow. But I'm gonna tell you what, this is gonna get you into the more jet arena. But just remember, this might be your second or third EDF, okay? Just my opinion. Don't shoot the messenger. I am right. I have a right to an opinion unless you talk about things that YouTube disagrees with. So just wanted to say, if you want to give them a special salute, buy from the links in the video description below. You will be helping to support Brian Phillips RC and pointing the correct finger at Google, the mothership, who likes to control everything in our lives and know everything. So they're gonna know you like RC airplanes now. I'm sorry, tell your wife it's Google's fault. And also follow the link. Also, if you want to find another plane, you don't like this one, it doesn't meet your fancy, or you want LEDs, you can buy the 90. If you follow our link, it's there as well through the same link. You just pick the bigger one. 90 millimeter EDF, Viper jet, one of the best planes, one of the greatest of all times. Seriously, if you don't have one, you need it. Save the money, get it. This thing is an everyday flyer. That thing is huge. It may not make as much sense for you because it's so much bigger, but I'm gonna tell you this. This thing is fantastic. It's got all the refinements of the 90 except for the LED package. Okay, seriously. And it flies great. You'll love it. It is a good everyday platform. So get one from the links in the video description below. If you don't want to buy that, you want to support us still, we have 4 other ways. Super thanks. Monthly support through YouTube membership, monthly support through Patreon, and then PayPal. Just remember, we're friends and family. That butterfly is lucky. It didn't get sucked into my inlet. Did you see that on camera? There's been not very many butterflies this year.
I know.
It's weird.
Sad.
I think they're short. Yeah. But it's been good. We just cut our grass and it's greening up because we got a little bit of rain. So we do grass hay here, guys, in case you didn't wonder. We've been landing over the top of it over here, and it was getting kind of hard because that stuff was so tall. It probably would have saved this plane, though, because I would have had to make a steeper final. Yeah. But it was making the bowl less fun to fly. So I'm glad it's out of there. Anyway, guys, if you want to hear more about my hay experience, just stay tuned. We talk about it every once in a while, like every 30 videos here on Brian Phillips RC. But also, we really appreciate you guys, world's best, most supportive audience in YouTube history. We know you're going to follow the links when you buy one, because that's how we make our living, sort of, other than my day job. So, thanks for watching, guys. So much more coming. We have tons of content. There might even be more flights right now. Stay tuned. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We've got the Viper Jet from E-flite. Amazing smart technology. All the upgrades you've come to expect with even more power. 85 amp ESC, 1900 kV motor. Upgraded tires, my favorite feature on this beautiful, gorgeous look. They look just like the old ones, but they're squishy, legit squishy, okay? All three, and spring-loaded oleos, spring-loaded trailing link on the nose gear, which makes this thing do grass hops just fine. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna run down to that end of the runway and take off right now on our 6S 3200 30C Smart Pack. All right, so we got pack telemetry, super nice, and thrust reverse. But without further ado, takeoff flaps are deployed. Here we go. Out of the package, 50% throttle. Look at this, already in the air. Out of the gear, out of the flaps. 30% throttle here. And that thing is cruising along, cruising for a bruising. Some more throttle. 100%. There we go. Janking it. And as you can see, the thing recovers like nobody's business. Now, I gotta say, this 3200 pack has given us more issues than our others about recovery from high throttle moments. But just remember, if you want the juice, you might wanna be just a little bit more careful with this one, because it does have a higher kV motor and definitely puts out on demand, okay? So if you want your flight times to stretch as long as you used to, you've got more power at your discretion, so most people are gonna use it. And I don't blame you. Also, we have in this very video, we have twin parallel 3000, series 3000 3200s. We'll fly the 4000 for you. Look at the ups, guys, just like absolutely fantastic. And yes, the critically low alarm is going, probably because we're dropping just below 3.4. Love the scream from the Viper. One of my favorite noises that this plane does. I did one elevator correction change from 11 to 10 on takeoff. Seems to be working nicely. Now I'm gonna get into the wind and show you landing. I felt like I was losing my elevator authority. So we're gonna come in here right into the wind, take off flaps now, no nose droop. Landing flaps, oh yeah! 5%, folks, that does that instead of 11. Guys, love the orange, love the white, makes it very easy and poppy to see. We're gonna try a couple of touch and goes here in the takeoff flaps now. Landing flaps will come kind of after this second tree line. Okay, landing flaps now. Oh yeah, so much better, folks. Pilot fatiguage. I waited so long to deploy the pilot fatigue. But the thing is, I'm gonna just tell you this right now. This plane does everything you want. Off the grass, amazing flight performance. Mind you, no business to my critically low alarm. I'm just gonna ignore it because I think it's a bunch of BS. 1 minute left on our 340. Man, that thing cruises so slippery. Inside out loop here to top it off. Coming back down. I love gliding this thing. It's just so juicy and slippery. Not even in throttle. I haven't been in throttle. This is all dead stick. That's not dead stick, guys. Woo-wee! As you can see, beautiful. And thrust reverse It's not for the faint of heart or people with tinnitus.
You don't have to match the pitch of it with your voice.
That's true. That's true. Pitch and volume. Okay, so now we're getting a low voltage, critically low alarm, and I trust it. Okay, here we go. Boy, that 5% made a big difference. Pilot fatigue it all the way, guys. So much fun. You're gonna love this plane. Everyday flyer, absolutely. Correct size for transit, absolutely. Colors pop in the sky on a sunny day or a cloudy day alike, absolutely. Bigger, more powerful motor, absolutely. Different battery pack choices, absolutely. By the way, you can slide them right up on top of your receiver if you want to get them further back to get that center of gravity back. But I'm going to tell you this. This is a big improvement, guys. I didn't think to try it on my first 4 flights, was it?
3.
But I'm going to tell you, this being my 4th flight, this was the best thing I did the whole time. Flap system. This is the way that the factory suggests. No soup for you. Put it back to 5, put this to 10. You'll be very happy I suggested it. Because the weird thing is about this plane, you don't balloon on takeoff flaps bad, but you actually nose down on landing flaps. Now, if you're coming in for final and you get your CG way back, which I don't know what battery they're using to get that result, the 11%, 5% your ticket, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna make a big improvement in your flight characteristics. And it's very weird to have a larger elevator correction on takeoff flaps than it is on landings. It's super weird. But also, what are you doing when you take off, camera crew? You're pulling up. You're not pushing down.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you this, on landing, you're pulling up to flare a jet, okay? Now keep in mind, this is a Viper, and the commensurate Viper thing to do is to come in on final, flare, and then fall over, okay?
Right.
Don't do that. I've demonstrated at least once in this video, but I'm just gonna point something out. The plane sustained 0 damage because we went off the edge of the runway. The original landing gear would have been destroyed.
And you wouldn't have been in the grass at all.
Heck no. No grass hops. Now, admittedly, that took a long time, but we did just get some rain, and my grass is actually pretty well kept right now. So I must say, if the grass was like 6 inches tall and looking crappy and a bunch of weeds sticking up like normal, probably wouldn't have got off the ground. Now, you could hand launch that thing if you wanted, but you'd have to be in it hard.
Right.
Also, I think my 3200 6S has given me some issues.
Well, and if you're flying off of a grass strip that's designed for that, like, it's going to handle it no problem.
Sure. Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I got to say, guys, the taxiability, it does have a little bit of a limitation on its tight turning radius. As you can see, it takes a little bit of room. But guys, this is not a super smooth yard, okay? It just isn't. I do love the way that it taxis, though, once you get it moving. It's easy to control down the runway. It's just that it doesn't have an ultra tight radius. But because you have thrust reverse, you can do what you need to do. But you guys see those soft tires make the thrust reverse? It's like so different because changing the direction that you're going, look how good it goes forward.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Thrust reverse is just a lot less direct and thrusty based on what you're giving it. And I gotta say, the landing gear look a lot better for the part, okay? And you won't believe me until you smash this into the ground a few times and you get one of those terrible Viper bounces. And you guys don't know what I'm talking about because you don't want to admit it. But the truth is, all of us that have flown the Viper have bounced a landing at one point or another, unless your name is Allie. So that being said, guys, what an amazing everyday flyer. Couple thoughts. A, what's this plane missing? Nothing, except for LEDs. If you want LEDs, add LEDs or get the 90. The 90 has one of the best LED packages you can get. This is an everyday flyer. Budget. It compares better than any current offering, in my opinion. Even though you might like the other gray scheme, this pops out in the sky. Yeah. I'm just gonna say it right now, period. I love the soft tires. The soft tires are the glue that holds this plane together. Because I remember, do you remember when we landed our first Viper on a basketball court? And it went way off of the basketball court.
Over the whole
That was so much fun, guys. I remember it now. I should go back and watch that. By the way, if you want to watch an old legacy video of Brian Phillips RC, you can see how far we've come as a family and how far I've come as a pilot. You can go back and watch the original videos that really are terrible. But that's cool because you get to see the progression or digression, whichever way you look at it. But that being said, Viper Jet, one of my all-time favorites. Love this plane. I have loved every rendition from every manufacturer that has come out. So admittedly, I'm biased in that regard, but I'm gonna tell you a couple things about my bias. I am biased for planes that fly, that have a wide flight envelope, that do what they say, that give you a good, desirable performance, and that put out all the time. Meaning this thing flies in wind that's confused, it flies in calm, it flies at or near sunset because of the bright orange. I would really like to see LEDs, but it's not that big a deal. Honestly, this plane is so sweet, it might be worth adding some LEDs. By the way, if you want to add LEDs, I used to do this all the time, guys. You go back and watch. Just, I don't know why this one always comes to mind. It's like a discontinued plane currently, but I did them on the Spitfire 1.2 from E-flite. I remember doing that. So, I mean, I did like probably 30 planes on camera. It was tediously difficult to film, but it's not that big a deal. All you got to do is steal power from one of your servos that's already current limited. So you don't even need to add a current limiting resistor in most cases. And then you just plop that LED right on the wingtip, put a little bit of blob of glue on it, cover it with some hard CA to make it look nice. And that thing will glow for all the other amazing spectators to see, including you, the pilot. But I gotta say, the white pop's good. It's gonna pop against a dark tree. And we will test that at some point. Hopefully we get some low light flying conditions for you so we can show you just how well this really does pop. Remember, gray disappears in gray. White can disappear in the right gray, but we have a beautiful, bright orange pop of color. I like orange, it helps me to see my plane. I like lime green, it helps me to see my plane. I like yellow, it makes me easy to see in the sky, okay? So that's what we like. And I gotta say, in terms of scale appearances, it is second to none. It's very good, it looks great, and with the retracts pulled up, oh man, it's so good. And it flies about as good as any other plane that you can fly. Now, some people are gonna say this is a beginner EDF. I'm gonna take issue with that right now and just say it, even though they call it a skill level 2, because it's bind and fly, it's quite easy, okay? But I still don't think this would be for the faint of heart. When you're brand new as a pilot, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes and the Viper bites hard, okay? Even with AS3X, you have to worry about the possibility of having it slip out. I didn't even show safe. This thing is equipped with safe. I turned safe. I also have an off setting for my AS3X, which is kind of cool. We'll show you how to do all that in the Unbox Build radio setup, which actually precede the release of this video. So check it out when you're ready. But I know most of you just want to see this beauty fly. I'm going to tell you this, if you want one, get it ordered as soon as possible. Please order it from our links. It does help to support Brian Phillips RC. And the things that we're getting from our proceeds in YouTube are pretty much immediately gone because we have huge investments into this hobby, not the least of which is the new pond that's getting dug. Right now it's going to be a large, expensive, overbearing project that's going to cost way, way, way more than we wanted to. But the thing is, we're going to use that for float planes, boats, and other cool watercraft, probably some e-boats, I hope, if such a thing exists. That'll be so much fun. But anyway, that being said, like e-bikes, guys, get in there and ride. It's going to be so much fun. But anyway, it's also going to open up a different place for us to film. So just remember, the investments are real. They're not small. And we're doing it here on Brian Phillips RC because we love this hobby. We want to see you guys in the air. We want to see you succeed. If you want to help return the favor, all you need to do is buy these amazing products when you see one you love. And if you don't love it, don't get it. Get one you do love. The 90, amazing plane, even better, okay? But this thing's brand new and exciting, and I feel like it's a better everyday plane than the 90 because it's so much smaller and so much easier to battery. But that being said, you can battery the 90 with the same battery you fly in this, although I wouldn't do that. I would put a 7000 in that because it's easier to fit and get the CG right. Shoot, you can put two 7000s, I think, in the 90. It's huge. So anyway, lots to consider. Just still waiting for the Carbon Z Viper Jet. Eat your heart out, Horizon. You're welcome for that comment, by the way. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about this plane. It's amazing. If you want to support us, but you don't want to buy this plane or another plane similar to it, from the links in the video description below, you can do super thanks. That's a one-time thing on YouTube. You can do YouTube membership, which is a monthly Patreon, which gives you like a little bit better access to me for comments. Just ask any of the 39 people that are currently supporting us. Thanks to you guys, and thanks to you YouTube members that are real in our lives and helping to keep this channel funded. And then also PayPal. If you guys support us with one-time gifts on PayPal, we really appreciate it. Just remember, we're friends and family. You don't want to line their pockets anymore, and you have to get us some money. And at the end of the day, we still feel like the very best way you can support us is to support us in the way that's going to be beneficial to you, me, Megan, my family. Megan's the camera crew, my wife of many, many years. And of course, the manufacturers that help to support us too by sending products so that we can review them for you. We have hundreds of different products that we've reviewed over the years, and we wouldn't be able to do it with the support of these amazing companies that we partner with. But that being said, you are the boss. We aren't even the boss, you are. So what you guys say usually goes. And so what I'm gonna tell you right now is we answer to you and nobody else, okay? So no matter if it's these guys or those guys or the other guys, this distributor or that distributor, this hobby shop or that hobby shop, we answer to you, the audience, because we want you to be able to help us be the tool in the RC hobby that you want us to be. And I know some of you think I'm a tool, I get it. But the real situation is that we have a little bit pull with these different companies, and we want to use it for the betterment of this hobby. We want to make this hobby everything that it can be. And we want a lot more people doing it. Because if you have like a super small, tiny, teensy tiny little compliant minority, you're going to get walked all over by people like the FAA. They don't care about us. So you need to have a very vocal, strong, preferably if it's a bunch of rich people that can sue the FAA, they will be a little bit nicer to play with. But the truth is, I'm not that, so I can't do it. I'll just be the compliant good boy on camera. So you guys can know how to do it off camera. Anyway, hopefully that was loud and clear. If it wasn't, read between the lines, please. And YouTube, thanks for being so supportive of us and not being so greedy and worrying about our links. If you guys want to give them a special thanks with one finger, you can buy from any of the links down below and you'll help support Brian Phillips RC and giving them the special thanks they deserve because they're not already rich enough as it is. Google, you know, that little dinky company that runs our world. But hey guys, at the end of the day, we do have a platform because of them. So thank you. We kneel to you as usual. All right, awesome. Viper Jet, amazing from E-flite. You guys want one and you want it yesterday. Don't wait to order it until it's out of stock. This is going to be a pre-order. Yes, I know you want it now. I do too. I just happen to have it now, but we wanted it before you wanted it. So we had to wait too. We just had to wait a different period of time. Awesome plane. You want it. Get it from the links, guys. 3200 6S in my battery is probably a little bit worn out. Full disclosure on this flight. We have other flights with 4000 6S. We have dual 3200 3Ss. Both were fabulous. And then we also have, what else did we do? Is that it? Mm-hmm. So guys, that's all you get for today. Thanks so much for watching. We wouldn't have the channel if you weren't watching. So don't forget to smash the like button, click the bell for notifications when you leave or when you subscribe. How about that? So we appreciate you. Stay tuned. More flights coming. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We've got the Viper 70, all new from E-flite. With new trim livery, we're gonna show the low light flight, squishy tires, oleos, spring loaded, nose gears, trailing link, and just absolutely fantastic performance. We're gonna fly ours tonight on dual 3200 3Ss in series, just to show how that can be done. We've got the reverse thrust. Feast your eyes on that beauty. Oh yeah, gotta love it, she screams. All right, here we go. We are in regular takeoff flaps. We're getting her airborne. Gear going up, out of the flaps. First time we've flown this in dead calm, and first time we've flown it in low light. Let's see how the orange pops as we expected. Oh man, that's so dang good. Blue skies are gonna be terrible on the camera, but that's okay. Beautiful flight performance. This plane is just awesome to watch in the air. Down and out. Janking it hard. Takeoff flaps now. Landing flaps, slow it down. What a beauty, guys. This Viper jet does everything you want it to do, and it does it on demand, especially landings now. Now, I may mention there, we have a 5% elevator correction on our landing flaps, and instead of 11 on takeoff flaps, we have 10. So we went 0 elevator correction on normal flight as usual, 11% elevator correction. Excuse me, it was supposed to be 11 and 11. Now it's 10 and 5. Okay, full throttle. And look at the ups, guys. Whoa, I got my first Viper stall there. High-speed Viper stall. Was doing really slow, got out of the flaps and got into the throttle, didn't give enough time for it to catch up. Now watch this not stall. Oh, yes. That thing is so speedy. I love listening to the scream. But as you can see, this thing just slippery as all get out. Gotta love the way it looks. The orange is definitely better than blue. The blue would blend like crazy with the sky tonight. And I think the poppy orange is a little bit better than red, but it still definitely disappears. The cow thinks so too. Okay, so we are getting our formal countdown. So camera crew and I are gonna stay right where we are. Okay. We're gonna try to land. Takeoff flaps are deployed. Gear are gonna come out now. We're just gonna cruise it in, nice and gentle. Remember, fly this baby to the ground, okay? Full landing flaps. Just gliding it in, guys. Just gliding, 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 gliding.
Nice.
Pilot fatigue saves a day, and there was an echo. That's so cool. Okay, now we're into controllable thrust reverse. We'll show you exactly how to do that in our unboxed build radio setup. Takeoff flaps only, now regular flaps. She screams in pilot reverse. And by the way, or in pilot fatigue setting for thrust reverse, but I gotta say a few things. A, get your flaps changed. It makes a huge difference. The elevator correction on the landing flaps is too much out of the manual. It will make your nose, it'll force you down. You won't have enough up elevator to actually get that thing to fly in on final. Takeoff flaps, 11% is fine. I wouldn't suggest it though. I would say go to 10. So basically the moral of the story is 0, 10, and then 5. I know it's weird, but the thing is this plane just, it's so dang slippery. You see how I come out here and I pulled up and it did the stall? That's where you gotta make sure that the wing doesn't slide out from under you. I've had it happen on every Viper I've ever flown. When I really pull hard on the elevator, it will get out in front of it and do this weird high speed stall. But if you're going fast enough and you're into your throttle already, you may not see that. It's kind of hard to explain, but you'll start to pick up on the clues. Now, also on final, when you bring this thing in, if you have a late base leg turn, just be careful. She'll want to fall out from under you during that too. So just be careful, but this thing actually flies amazing. And for those two, the stall characteristics, that's one thing to keep in mind when you're a brand new pilot or a brand new EDF pilot, is you want to respect the stall. But the AS3X and safe on this thing, just have it locked in. I didn't even fly it on safe at all during any of our videos.
Such a short flight though.
But it's such a short flight that you just can't give it up. Now, it says 2:33 right now because it's been talking as I've been jabbering. I think I went about 4 minutes, probably 10. And we are using twin 3S smart packs, which means even though we don't have the full telemetry through the smart lead, we still have pack voltage. So we could actually go up. Do you think I should go up and do like one safe click just to show them? Or are you afraid I'm gonna lose it? I'll know on takeoff. Why don't we do one real quick?
The lighting though.
The lighting is tough, but we'll get it. Okay, so camera crew's out of the way. In true Brian Phillips fashion, we're trying to push the batteries to death. Full throttle, get that thing flying. Okay, gear up, safe is on. Okay, so I'm gonna just show you the limit to the bank angles. Okay, see I'm limiting up. There's our limit up. There's our limit down. And when we let go, it just automatically levels. And the thing flies amazing. Still in takeoff flaps, just so you know. Okay, I'm out of safe now. I am gonna go ahead and bring this in and land it right now. It's coming in over the trees, real light on the throttle, so I don't have any big stall or bite. Okay, so here we go, ready to flip the switch for reverse thrust. There we go. And pilot fatigue right to our feet, guys. That plane is super flyable, and that's what I love about it, is you can just squeeze every ounce of life out of this thing, and you will love it. And you guys see how cruisy she was when I put down. I mean, that thing was going.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, one thing I wish I could do better with it is I wish I could flare on landings, and we've got just enough to flare now. But I'm telling you, if you had 11, you would not have anything left on the elevator.
Do you think if you were flying from like a real runway,
oh yeah,
you would be okay at the 11? Like you have to drop over trees.
No.
You think it's going to help no matter what?
Change it.
Okay.
Trust me. Just try it once. You'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. This thing's attitude will go nose down at 11 on full landing flaps. And if you put it to 5, it's going to taper and have a slight balloon, which is what I want on full landing. Because I'm not going to generally fly my fast jets on full landing flaps just for fun. Like I don't do a lot of super slow flying with my jets. So this thing, if you cut that back, and I'll just show you on the screen one more time because we got the low light condition. See, we still have plenty of power. So if you go to the where the heck is flaps?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's weird.
What is that weird noise I'm hearing?
I think it's the neighbors rolling their garbage can all the way down their gravel driveway.
It sounded like somebody was doing fireworks in the distance. So 0, 10, and 5. You'd be surprised. Yeah. I did several flights on 11 and 11, and every flight I ended up hitting prematurely. And by the way, those side tires, you see how nice it does the transition from the grass into the... We haven't had a Viper yet that would tolerate grass strips, and let's say we're the best kept grass strips that we've seen. And admittedly, our grass is really good right now for my grass field, okay?
Right.
My grass field is still rough, but this thing can put down on the grass and then transition onto the hard surface. There is a bump, by the way, and I can't believe how well it does. We've never had a small one do so good.
No.
And so, spring-loaded oleos on the mains, as well as soft, and actually soft tires. And then the nose gear with the trailing link, that's where you're gonna take the brunt of your wear and tear. And this thing does it great. Yeah. So the only thing that would be awesome is if there was a set of LEDs on there, it'd be really handy. But if you want to add LEDs, go to the 90 and you're going to have an even more amazing flight experience. But it's going to be a lot more battery. So just so you know, we're running this on twin 32 3Ss in series. That's pretty cool with the series adapter and then an adapter to jump up to an EC5 so that it can fit with the stock IC5, okay? Beautiful plane, new, bigger ESC, 85 amps, the new 1900 kV motor. It just does everything you want. It's got all the features of its competitive offerings that are out right now. The difference is you can see it better in this type of sky. And I'm just gonna tell you, when you can see, you can fly. And when you can see, you can land. And so, regardless of all the rest of the details, this thing has got them all in a package deal that's bind and fly. So very excited about that. And anytime I have an opportunity to say, do this, it's gonna give you all the things you want. You wanna tick all those boxes. I don't even say tick, I say check. It will check all the boxes. And that's why you go with this one, okay? And I don't just say that lightly because every Viper I've ever flown, I liked a lot. Okay, and that includes from the hand launch arrows that we've flown all the way through the competitive offerings and to this one today. This is the ticket right here. So love it, guys. Good job, Horizon. Good job, E-flite, on this package deal. We love it when you're putting out the best of the best. And to be frank, that's what we expect. So that being said, bind and fly, plus all the features we have and a little bit more than any other offering, you can't go wrong. So get this thing. You want to add it to your fleet. By the way, order it today. They're going to be doing pre-orders right away. You better get your pre-orders in, because what's going to happen is they're going to fly off the shelves, pun intended, and you're going to wish you had one. So get one. All right, guys, that's all you got. I think we're going to have some more flights for you in this video. I'm not sure if this falls at the end or the beginning or somewhere in the middle, but very, very happy with this. We will show where the batteries are right now real quick in case we are doing this for the first clip. You can see this is actually where I put my 4000, because I flew it on 4000s too, and then our series adapter tucked in by the side of the batteries. These are 3200 3S's in series, and then you can stuff your battery lead right in there. And it works really, really nice. This was the little homemade adapter I made. You could actually get those, I think. I just didn't have one of these with an IC to an IC. But it doesn't matter, because you're not going to carry your data lead, because there's actually 2 batteries involved. And so the telemetry, the data that we're getting, is treated as a dumb pack and then converted back. Okay? So if you have a brand new off-the-shelf 3200 6S that's looking really square and crispy and brand new, might want to do that. But I love the way this works. I'm super happy, because I didn't have anything that was really needing these 3200 3S's, and so we didn't hardly ever use them. This is a perfect opportunity, and it worked really good. All right, guys, get your wings and get flying. If you want to help support us buying from the links, we really do need your support. In that way, it helps to fund our channel. So if we bring you any value, click the link when you're getting ready to buy, and then you can look over all the specs, make sure everything I said jives with what you need. You can bring one to your front door, and it's going to help support our channel, especially if you need to get yourself an NX10 or a battery, or maybe if you're buying this some other day in the very far future where they do release it as a plug and play, you can get the receiver, which they include this in the bind and fly. I believe that's the only way it's being offered right now with the 631. Okay, so the 631 has plenty of bells and whistles for this thing, but if you wanted to go even higher, you could do a 637. But you're going to get everything passed back through the telemetry on the 631, so I don't even think I would go that way myself unless you want the Vario. So love the features on this, love the plane. Get one from the links in the video description below when you decide to get one. And then also, if that's not going to be what you want to do, or maybe you've already got this plane, you're just watching to kind of answer some of your questions, then maybe what you could do to support us is throw us a super thanks. That's a one-time donation on YouTube. YouTube members, thanks for being one. If you're one of the first 9, thanks for being there. And then Patreon, same. If you're one of the first 39 at this moment, I believe we have 39 Patreons, and you do put a smile on our face, also have a little bit better access to us for comments. And that's a monthly support option as well. And then PayPal, as long as we're friends and family, you'll just be sending the money to us and not to PayPal. So thanks for doing those things, and we appreciate you. If you're looking for something similar, but not exactly the same, or maybe another Viper we've reviewed in the past, you can check by playlist on Brian Phillips RC, click on my face on the icon, and then you'll be able to search our channel, or you can go to brianphillipsrc.com, which is our website and domain, and you can go over there and you can see by type or by manufacturer, hobby shop, whoever we worked with to get the videos produced, okay? So you can check there and you can sort through the plethora of content that's already published right now on Brian Phillips RC. But if you can't wait, which you should, because there's stuff right around the corner, that's where you can look. All right, guys, we've wrapped that thing up with a bow. Beautiful E-flite Viper, 70 millimeter. Every other feature you need, except for maybe a couple LEDs. But the thing is, I'm gonna put this in perspective. If you wanna add LEDs, all you have to do is take the outside servo, pull the wire out. There's not even tape over these wires, guys. And you can splice the red and the brown. That's your negative, because this is the JR Hextronics color code. And you can run your wire out there. You usually don't even need a current limiting resistor, because you've already limited the current on this circuit, okay? But if you do want to take it from 6 volts of current limited resistance down to the 3.2 or 2.9 volts or whatever it is, you just make a voltage divider circuit, you add your 1 resistor on the positive side, and you're done, okay? Really simple stuff. All right, that's all I got to say. If you want to see how to do those LEDs in the past, we've done them a long time ago. We did probably 30 or 40 planes on camera, and all you'd have to do is go through. I think we did them on the Spitfire from E-flite. That thing's been discontinued for a while, but you could watch how we did that. And we did them on a million UMX planes. It was so much fun, but I hated filming it. So anyway, I'm probably not going to do any more right now, but we can answer your question before you even ask it. All right, guys, anything camera crew you want to add?
Nope,
all right, that's all you get for today. Either stay tuned, there's more flights coming, or go ahead and get one right now.